Hi everyone, it's Sami from the Sephora at Fashion Square in Sherman Oaks. And if you are looking to add a little bit of color to your life, you are going to love this green smoky eye tutorial. So keep on watching. My eyes have already been prepped with concealer, so I am just going to dive straight into my Tarte Tarteist Pro Amazonian Clay palette. The first shade I will be using is Classic with my number 12 Sephora Collection Pro All Over Eyeshadow brush. So I'm just going to take that shade and pat it all over my lid all the way up to my brow and sweeping it on so it's nice and even. I like to do this just so I have a nice primed space. I like to think of it as when you are painting a wall. You want to make sure you get down that bright primer layer first so your other colors can really pop. Sweepity sweep. I'm going to pick up the shade Bold with my number 19 crease brush and just sweep it back and forth in windshield wiper motions. This is going to start defining my eye. I like to think of it as a contour for my eyelid, so just giving myself some shape. But you can notice that I am not really winging out this shape. I'm kind of pulling it more upwards. That way I can give my eye a more lifted, open look. I'm going to pick up the shade Edgy. This color is more of a medium brown. I'm going to apply it in the same area that I put the shade Bold, but blending it more downwards on the lid. Since this is going to be a smoky eye look, I want to make sure the colors in my crease are going to blend nicely into my darker lid. So don't be afraid to really go for the bold in the crease. Sweeping it back and forth, again, keeping it nice and open, not winging out the shape too much. Jumping to my next shade, I'm going to be using Smoked with that same number 19 brush again. But this color, I'm going to pat it more onto my lid and just kind of work it up into my crease. I'm not placing it directly in my crease. Always remember that where you place your brush first is going to be where you get the most pigment. And since this color is a lot more dark than the other two, I want to place it on my lid because I'm going for that smoky lid and blending it upward into a lighter crease and then eventually up to my brow bone. So just blending that out. I really only dip into the palette once or twice. I don't want to saturate this color too much because I can always go back in and deepen it later. It's a lot easier to add more color if needed than to try to keep blending it out if you put too much. So I always suggest just work in layers and take your time and just keep blending. You can see I'm keeping the center part of my lid nice and open because I am going to go in with a pop of color after. But just focus this color on the inner corner and the outer corner. All right, and now for the Sephora Collection Colorful Shadow and Liner. The shade I am using is Khaki, and you can tell that these pencils are extremely creamy. They are so easy to blend out. You can use them as a shadow, you can use them as a liner. They're completely waterproof, transfer-proof, crease-proof. They stay all day long. And I cannot explain how amazing these pencils are. Seriously, this product is just so amazing. And there's a bunch of different colors, so whatever you're looking for, you can definitely find. I'm just going to grab my number 27 brush. I'm not picking up any excess product. I'm just taking the brush clean, and I'm going to use it to just diffuse out the top of the color Khaki into my crease colors. So just swiping that back and forth until I am happy with the blend between those two. But like I said, take a clean brush. This is the best way to diffuse out any product without messing up the colors you've already laid down. So repeating it on the other side from one corner to the other, just coloring in my lid with that pencil. And then I'm going to take the 27 and just lightly blend out the top. So taking my Khaki pencil, I am just going to apply it to the lower lash line. Because these are waterproof, you can use them in the waterline as well. So I'm just going to gently tug on the bottom of my eye just so I can get into my waterline. Don't pull too hard. We don't want to crease the under eye. And I'm just going to sweep it on back and forth. Super creamy, so it's easy to blend out. And it's pretty comfortable too. Sometimes certain creamy products can be a little irritating to the waterline, but I really like this one. So again, picking up my number 19 brush, I'm going to use the shade Punk, which is a really soft black shadow. And I'm going to diffuse that into my crease. Because this is a smoky eye look, I want to make sure I get lots of drama. But if you are not a fan of a black smoky eye, you could totally stop here and go back in with a brown shade. But I want to make it as dramatic as I can, so I'm just going to sweep that on back and forth. Now this color is super soft, so you don't have to be intimidated by using the black eyeshadow. It's very easy to blend if there are any mistakes made, but it also just looks pretty and frames the eye very well.
Alright, so taking the shade Punk with my number 11 smudge liner brush, I'm just going to smudge it onto my bottom lash line. I love a really dark bottom lash line, super smoky, so I just really pack this color on and just softly blend it out. It can be as dramatic as you want it to be, but this is really going to give you a lot of depth. And now to line my eyes, I'm using the Bobbi Brown Longwear Gel Eyeliner in black ink. This is my favorite eyeliner, hands down. Extremely waterproof, super creamy, and so easy to blend. I like to use my number 22 angled liner brush because I can really create my own shape with this. If you have trouble putting on eyeliner, I highly recommend using the cream eyeliner with a brush because it's a lot more flexible and a lot easier to use. If you wanted to, you could create a winged liner, but because I'm doing more of an open shape with this, I'm just simply lining my upper lash line. I'm also going to line my tight line as well. I love to tightline my eyes when I'm going to be wearing false lashes because it helps create a very flawless look. You don't want to see the skin or the lash line when you have a fake lash on because that is the giveaway that you are wearing a fake lash. And for mascara, I'm going to be using the Milk Makeup Kush Waterproof Mascara in the shade Aces. I love this mascara. It's extremely waterproof, but it's also going to be very nourishing for your lashes. There are heart-shaped fibers in it, so it's really going to give you a lot of volume, really full-looking lashes, and it is the perfect prep to pop on a false lash. And now for the finishing touch, I'm going to be applying some false lashes. The ones I'm using are the Sephora Collection Lily Lashes for Sephora Collection in the style Rome. Now, I've already used these quite a few times before, so they are trimmed down to my eye shape. So I'm just going to dive straight into my adhesive. I'm using the Sephora Collection Brush Tip Lash Adhesive in the shade White. It does dry clear though, it's not a white color. It's just so you have a guide when you are applying it onto the lash band. I'm going to use my Tweezerman Pink Perfection Point Tweezers to apply it onto my lash line. I have acrylic nails and they're really, really long, so I can't do lashes that well with my fingers. So I like to use the tweezers because it's just a lot easier. So just pushing it down onto my lash line, making sure it's dried. I also like to take my fingers and kind of push the lashes up so they're nice and lifted. These lashes are great because you can use them so many times. I seriously think this is like my 10th or 11th time wearing these same lashes and they still look good as new. So I highly recommend grabbing a pair of these.
Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Sephora's channel. Bye!